Hi, everybody. So this is a question video. So I'm getting these questions from askhoneycgolden at gmail.com, and I'm answering from my higher self. So I'm tapping in to what my soul has to say. So that's where the answers are coming from. And if you want to learn how to do this, it's on my website under soul guidance. But basically, like, it's changed my life to be able to do that. So and it definitely takes some work. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and answer some questions. A few of these are from the Buy Me a Coffee link because people bought coffees, and I'm going to answer a few of those questions. And I'm then going to go on to the email. So this question is a good question because a lot of you are fairly new to this this YouTube channel, and you haven't seen all the videos. And I have a lot of videos where basically what's happening now was going to be happening back in 2022. And that's the timeline we were on. We were also on the timeline where we're going to have a massive solar flash, whereas we're not going to anymore. It's been spread out. So the solar event has been mini solar events since basically the spring of 2023. So basically we've been at for over a year. We've had solar flashes. So, and once I understood where all that came from, that made more sense because the souls want as many to ascend as possible. And that solar energy comes from the souls. So a lot of this stuff that I was talking about 2 years ago is now coming to fruition because we are in that timeline now. So we've switched parallels. And we did just switch a massive timeline on last Saturday with the event that happened at the rally. So we went on an even better timeline at that point. So let's see if there's anything else. Oh, also there's a thing about silver. So will silver reach $1,600? I think silver will surpass that dramatically. When will that happen? That's up to the universe. But I would say once gold is the thing that is backing money, which is happening now, then silver will begin to catch up to that. So that's what I would expect. That's what I expect for myself, because I too, all of us purchased silver when all of this started to happen. So it's going to change. And I see it surpassing gold, but I also see gold increasing quite a lot. So I mean, it could get up to being worth up to 20,000. Silver in the past, what I was getting, it would go up to 18,000. And now I'm getting it will surpass that. When that happens is up to the universe, really. But as far as when we get into the gold backed money, I think the silver will reach that very quickly. That's what I see. Okay, so this is from Violet, and she's asking about a body part that was taken out of her body so she can no longer have children. And is it possible for it to be returned? It will be, I believe. So I'm not a doctor. I'm not claiming to cure anything, but I do believe that body parts can come back. And it will be a frequency machine, and it will be probably a med bed. But I think even organs can be regrown at this point. They have been hiding so much technology. So tap into everything yourself, you guys. But pretty much anything is possible. So keep that in mind. Okay, so this is from Bev and it has to do with depression. So depression is a rumination. It's like a monkey mind thing, and it's focused on all the bad things that have happened in your life. So if you have someone around you that is having depression, try to get them out of their environment. Another thing is nutrient deficiency. So good fats, magnesium, and basically minerals in general are really important for the body. So I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to cure any diseases. So you need to do your own research. But I would look into the good fats. So you're going to want omega-3s. Coconut oil is a good fat. Avocado oil is a good fat. A lot of times it's fake. So you need to be careful about your sources. And then there's one more I wanted. Olive oil is really good. And I would not heat olive oil up though. So if you're going to heat it, I probably would just use either coconut oil, avocado oil, butter, ghee, and then lard is also very good, but you want to make sure it's not hydrogenated. It needs to be natural. So animal fats are very important for the body. Cod liver oil is very important. And magnesium is the most, like, how do I say that? Like, it's the nutrient people are missing the most. And there's several kinds of magnesium. So you really want to do your research with that. And it really absorbs great through the skin. So I would look that up. But good fats, magnesium, good minerals, copper, that's really important. And that's for general health too. So look into those things. The sun is super bright right now. Okay, so this question is from Gabrielle, and she's asking about her two cats. And they were fighting with each other, which I guess they always do. And I have the same situation. They're not fighting constantly, but they do not appreciate each other. Sometimes cats will come in for a certain aspect of you, a certain healing aspect. They're healing you most of the time. That's why they're attracted to you. Sometimes you're there for them, but most of the time they're there for you. So cats are what you would call an interdimensional being. They can see through the veil, and they're really amazing, actually. But your cats don't appreciate each other. I feel like they've been competitive through many lifetimes. So their souls are very cranky with each other, and they've always been vying for your attention. Sometimes they're your children, I think. So, and they usually fight with each other like sisters would fight with each other or brothers. So there's kind of an angsty thing going on there. Being aware and saying that you love them both is important. And maybe asking for them to break those contracts with their polarity with each other. The male voice was actually your divine partner. So he's also linked to them. And for some reason, he was able to come all the way through. His voice was able to come all the way through. He is close. Feels like he's close. So if you desire to have your divine partner in this life, you can. It may take a little while for that to actually show up for you, but that's another thing to bring up during this. So yeah. Interesting, good stuff, those cats. Okay, so this is a good question from Steve. When will we see through the matrix, the cloud structures, etc.? seems like a lot of people are seeing what they really are and others are not. So you have to think about the different soul groups, the ages of those soul groups to kind of comprehend why it's taking some longer. So if you're really aware of it, then you either have an ET soul, you have an architect soul, or you have an angelic soul. Fairies and elementals will also see them. But if you have a young soul of any of those groups even, they may not see it yet. And if you are a person who only has the human consciousness, you will not see what's going on in the sky. The veil is still within the mind of the human being. And we had a big restructuring event over the last, it's probably like a week ago. And other people, it was like a few days ago. So it was different for different people. But the body started restructuring. And honestly, it restructures every day because the body is made of light. And we perceive things in the physical. But just like the CIA, which I'm not going to say that again, but that group released, which is called the gateway process, where people can walk through walls. You are in control of the matter. So you're in control of the things out in front of you. I have a computer because I believe I have a computer. I have this trailer as my office because I believe that I could get one, and I found it and I bought it because I believed I could. So we're creating what's in front of us, just like we're creating whether we can see through the matrix or not. So it really depends on the age of the soul, because the soul is who is elevating the human consciousness. And if someone only has the human consciousness, then they will appear to be more like an NPC because they won't have the soul to guide them. And that is happening quite a bit. Okay, so this is a good question from Mary, and she's asking about the I and the R and the S, and does it still exist? So I see it as a shell company, and she's received a lot of letters, and I feel like it has more to do with a soul shadow than an actual reality. So what I would do is go break contracts. I think that you have a parallel where you are a tax collector, and I would break contracts with that and resolve that lifetime. You need to forgive that part of your oversoul and let them go back to your oversoul and heal, because it feels like it's pretty yucky. So all of us have all these lifetimes that are going on at the same time from the oversoul. Those are the parallels. And sometimes we're not doing so great. Sometimes we're polarized. We're not being that sweet. That's a shadow. And sometimes we're living an amazing life, and that's not a shadow. So that's not looking to be healed right now, but the shadows are. So when we don't know that we're getting messages from a shadow, then we don't heal it, and then it keeps bothering us. So whatever comes up in your life, whether you stub your toe or you get in a minor car accident, or, whatever it is, you get in a fight with somebody, whatever it is, ask, is this a shadow? Is this something to do with my genetic line? Or is this a trauma that I need to heal with my inner child, which is your human consciousness? Ask those questions, and then get the angels to help you, your soul to help you, etc., etc. If you need help, I do have all that information in Healing with Honey, which is $9 a month. So you can do this, and I would do it quickly versus waiting, because when you don't pay attention, then the knock at your door is going to become louder and louder, and it's going to be more and more unpleasant. Okay, so this is another interesting one. So Todd is asking, will you explain why some people are saying that the med beds and the Sara is a hijacked timeline? So we have all these timelines, all these parallels that are kind of sandwiched together right now. And sometimes we're hearing from people that are in a different parallel. So if you stumble across somebody that's really negative, they're probably not in the same parallel if you don't resonate with them. So I would say, not in my parallel. I'm not accepting that, and then stop watching. But basically, we are close, really close together for these events to happen. And I don't believe that that's hijacked. I believe we will see a version of the money system changing, and it's going to be beautiful. The one that I see is beautiful. And that's my parallel. And then as far as the med beds go, I do see that happening. And that's in my parallel. And I see it coming out in hospitals and clinics and, basically all over the place. So I don't see people who are in lower parallels being excited about the med beds. If they've never heard of them, I think they'll actually be afraid of them to start out with. So, keep that in mind. But I see these things as happening and beautiful. So you also need to be aware that who you're listening to, if they're not healed, if they're not working on themselves, they're not healing themselves and taking care of themselves with all the traumas that they've experienced, the soul shadows, all that stuff, then they could be speaking to you through a wound or a limiting belief. So be aware of who you're listening to right now. Listen to the people that you really resonate with and enjoy them. Listen to the music that you resonate with. Listen to, watch the movies that are uplifting to you and fun. And let go of the things that are not feeding your soul, making you happy, because we're creating our own world right now. And we don't want to bring any icky stuff with us. So that's where I'm at with it. Okay, and this is from Jacqueline, and she's asking a question about her daughter, who seems to have a lot of anger issues, and where does that come from? So there's a shadow between you, a lifetime where you guys are having a really hard time with each other, maybe even mortal enemies. So I would resolve that lifetime. And you can do that by forgiveness. And what else is going on? There's some kind of a trauma that what comes in is she doesn't understand me. So inside of your daughter exists the idea that you don't understand her. So just listening more than speaking would probably help, but resolve the shadow, resolve that other parallel that's going on, because that's not helping at all. And it feels like it's getting really loud. So do that, maybe take a little break from each other and then go ahead and re-engage. But really try to listen. I think that's one thing that we do with our family in general, is we cut them off a lot of times and we don't listen. And it's okay to say, that's not my point of view, but I value that it's yours, because we really don't need to have the same opinion either. So keep that in mind. But basically, give a lot of love to the people that don't seem to know how to give you love. And you don't have to do it through any kind of physical thing or hugging or anything. Just send them the love. and things start to change. They feel it. Okay, so this is going to be the last question from Barbara. I heard this mentioned a number of times, she says, and what will this look like for those of us staying because we're ascending? So not transcending, but ascending. Will this be people unaliving? Yes, a lot of people will be leaving that way, but think about how many people are basically NPCs. So the NPC, the non-player character, we're not going to need them around for, like, basically we create crowds of people so that we can feel comfortable. We're not going to need them for that anymore. So the holographic people could disappear just like that. The ones who have a human consciousness but do not have a soul guide, they are making choices right now. So will they accept a soul guide, or will they go ahead and ascend in the normal way that we've always ascended, which is to pass away and then ascend? So it really is up to them what they want to do. And usually people will choose the easier thing because it is not easy to ascend in the body. But because we're doing it this way, we're changing everything. We're ascending, basically, we're helping the entire universe ascend by doing it this way, by allowing our bodies to morph and allowing our consciousness to awaken and to have a guide kind of hold our hand through this process. And that guide is your soul. And at this point, that guide is within the body. And the oversoul, which is the conglomeration of your enormous soul, where all your parallels come from, that's your higher self right now. So we're in an amazing time. And I'm really grateful to be here with all of you guys. So I hope that you're enjoying what's happening, that it is, positive for you, that you've taken care of yourself and put yourself in a position where you can take a few days where nothing functions and you're fine. And I think we're all going to be really, really happy in the future and celebrating a lot because there's so much good that's coming. And if you tap into your soul and you ask questions, you will be quite surprised because it is so good. Like, we can't even comprehend it, I don't think. I know I can't. Because you can't think of all the questions to ask. But it looks absolutely amazing. And once you know where you come from, the fear just goes away. We are consciousness. We never left heaven. We're here. And our density is rising. And we're about to get into the fifth density, some of us. So just enjoy it. And people will keep on coming. Okay. A lot of people will be ascending for a while. But you guys are on the cutting edge. So just have fun. Okay, I will see you all later and talk to you soon. I'm sending you tons of love. Okay, bye.